Welcome to the Floriology Institute, online, brought to you by BlueNet. We are delighted to bring to you the following 28-minute educational video, The Business of Prom, featuring Dan Fisher, PFCI.
My goal is not to be a cheerleader and pat you on the back and tell you, oh, well, you're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. Everything will be fine. My job is to challenge the way that you think and in many ways show you the way that your 16-year-old prom girl does think. This program is called Proms for Profits. You can take a lot of these same ideas and take them into every area of your business. Fitz rule number 1 has 4 components. Do your homework. Know what it is you're doing. So when it comes to prom, do your homework. When are the proms? What are the dresses? What are the colors? What are the styles? What are the price points? What is your marketing? What is your display? Do your homework. Then get prepared. Execute your plan. We'll talk about goals and plans too. Then third, make sure you know your stuff, that you know what you're talking about. You are the leader, whether or not you want to be or not. By the fact that they come in and begin to ask you questions, you are the leader, and you have to be prepared for that. And then fourth, after you've done all that, have some fun with it. There is a lot of fun in making 16-year-old girls' prom dreams come true, and you're a part of that if you choose to be. Just take this Fitz rule number 1 and apply it to every part of your business. Prom market in the United States is $6.6 billion. The National Football League is $9.2 billion. Prom in the United States is 2/3 the size of the National Football League. Weddings in the United States is $10.8 billion. These couple little segments that you guys do on a daily basis are bigger than something that we would view as an institution, the National Football League. Everybody has their favorite team and they have game parties and the jerseys. This is something that you're involved in that is 2/3 the size of the NFL. This is what the average couple in the United States spends going to prom. And you all just thought, not in my store. And I'm sorry, but you're all wrong. Let's go back to slide number 1. My goal is to challenge the way you think. We know that prom is $6.6 billion. We know the average couple is spending $1,825. Are you getting your share? So when it comes to prom, here's my question for you. Do you have a plan? Really what I would want to say to you is, do you have a goal? Do you know what your goal is for this coming prom season? So when it comes to a plan, it's just like you do for Valentine's Day, or it's just like when you go on vacation. We're going to Disney and we're going to ride, I don't know the names of the rides, we're going to ride Space Mountain and we're going to do this one and we're going to go here and we're going to, and you know the route you're going to go or the plane you're going to take. It's all planned. And going back to Fitz rule number 1, what happens? You have fun because it's all planned out. But when it comes to Valentine's Day, you guys do a great job. Here's our goal, here's our plan, this is our price for 1 dozen roses, 2 dozen roses, this is what our add-ons are going to be, a balloon's going to be this much. Everybody in your staff knows that. It's planned out weeks in advance, right? Okay, you're all supposed to say yes then. You've got all of that all planned out, but when it comes to prom, you don't have that same thoroughness. So we're going to look at some of those things. So here's my question. How do you fish? There's 2 ways to go fishing. You go down to the lake, go down to the ocean, whatever it is, throw your hook in the water with some bait on it, and pray that a fish swims by, and it's hungry, and it likes your bait, and you set the hook. If all those things happen, you might catch a fish. This is how I go fishing. But it's the same thing when you're looking at your prom business, your wedding business, your sympathy business. I hire a guide who takes me to the fish and tells me what the right bait to use is, and what's the current, and what's the phase of the moon, and when is the last cold front come through. So the difference is, are you going to the fish? Are you waiting for them to come to you? Are you waiting for the 16-year-old girl to walk into your store and maybe you get a sale and maybe you don't? Or are you going out to where they are? Do you know where they're living? What's going on in their environment? Whether it's a school, whether it's Facebook, whether it's social media. So if you don't remember anything else, how do you fish? And again, it applies in all areas of your business. And so for this next year, What we're going to do is to begin to advertise directly to the 16-year-old girl in the national prom magazines. This is actually printed by 17, Hearst Publishing. And so what we're going to do is to advertise in these magazines with the tagline that says, available from your florist. Those are the magazines. Each one of these on average produces 1.2 million copies. We're looking to have, between our social media and our print, 10 million impressions for next prom season. There is a social media program that goes with this. It'll be anchored on Facebook, and it'll be accented with Pinterest and Twitter. Here's my number one goal for you. Here's the easiest way to increase your sales. Right now you think a prom is about a corsage and a boutonniere. If you'll do this one thing, your sales will go up dramatically. Stop thinking that it's about a corsage and a boutonniere. It's about a corsage and a boutonniere and something else. You're the leader. If you tell that girl, you should have a necklace, you should have a headpiece, you should have a leg piece, you should have something for your purse, she will buy it. If you don't tell her, she won't. So start thinking that it's three things, and what would that third thing be? And each one of them can be different, but if you know going into it, the same way you do with Valentine's Day, it's the 1 dozen roses, plus the balloon, plus the plush, plus the candy, plus the plus the plus. Keep adding those same pluses. Here's your first plus when it comes to your prom business. When it comes to prom, it's really this simple. It's about the girl, and it's about the dress, and nothing else. What does his tuxedo look like? The color of her dress. Okay. A lot of folks are just selling their corsages on elastic bands. And my question is, why would you even have an elastic band in your store? You're floral artists. You really want to put your creation on an elastic band? Bride comes into your store, says to you, I have a $35,000 budget. You would give her your chair. Somebody would run to Starbucks for her. You would work all night, blistering your hands and feet. You would wear yourself out. A prom girl, if you connect with that prom girl, is going to produce $35,000 in sales for you over the next 30 years. And you don't have to give her your chair, and you don't have to go to Starbucks, and you don't have to work all night. She just becomes a regular part of your business. She needs a florist for the rest of her life. Is there any reason it shouldn't be you? So here's the other thing I like to point out to everybody loves their sympathy business. Just big bucks, love that. Got 6 funerals today, got 2 funerals today. Everybody loves their sympathy business. Every time you do a casket saddle for a customer, did you replace that customer?
You buried them.
You buried them. You kiss that customer goodbye. So here's my challenge to you. Every time you do a casket spray for a customer, you need 10 new customers, because only one of them is going to stay with you through the long haul. Go to the school. And we'll go through fundraising, but this is my number one tip. You will increase your sales more by going to the school than anything else. When we tell you to do something, we give you the tool to do it with. So we tell you to go to the school. Our website has the letter to send to the school that you put your letterhead on. When we talk about fundraisers, we give you that letter also. We'll talk to you about making sure that you're able to get into the morning announcement so they know that you're coming. Okay. The boy and the girl come together. This is big, because this helps drive your sales. Because here's what happened. You want to talk to the girl. A corsage is not a corsage. A corsage is a fashion accessory that goes with that dress. So you go to the school and you've got the boy and the girl together because she's dragged him down here. Come on, we're getting a corsage today. And you're going to get your boutonniere. And he's standing there and he's bored and he's watching everything else. And you and her are talking and she's building this beautiful masterpiece. At some point, she's going to turn around and say to him, am I spending too much money? What's my budget? And what is he going to say?
Whatever.
Exactly what his father has taught him to say for 17 years. Yes, anything you want. Yes, dear. Anything you want. Your sales will go up when you've got the two of them together. The boundaries get removed. This is the biggest secret to seeing your sales increase and getting into the schools easy. When you call the school and say, I'd like to come to the school and sell corsages, and their answer is no. And their backup answer is, well, if we do it for you, we have to do it for everybody else. The reason the answer is no is because it's about you, and they want it to be about them. So the way you get into the school is to make it about them, whether it's the band or the football boosters or the chess club, whatever it is, 10% of that group is just, that's their life. Those people just became your salespeople. So I don't know how many employees you have, but our band has 300 kids. You just picked up 30 kids being salespeople for you. You couldn't hire or train those people, but you've got them running around excited doing, make sure you get your prom flowers from me because we're going to Disney. We're going to Macy's. Make sure you don't forget your boutonniere there. So you just picked up a bunch of salespeople. 10% more are even more emphatic and more committed to this than the kids are. The parents. I promise you, I raised a whole lot more money for my daughter's trip than my daughter did. But now you've got two sets of salespeople. You've got kids selling to kids and parents selling to parents. So instead, I'm going around and going, everybody, make sure you get your prom flowers from 1-800-Flowers because we're going to Disney and you're going to buy them anyway, so you might as well help us out. But you get those folks running around helping to raise money for you too. So you've got 10% of the parents. One of the things that's often going to happen is when you send the letter to the school saying that we'd like to do a fundraising program with you, is somebody on the fundraising committee, and I've been on these committees, is going to look at that sheet and go, flowers? Anybody know how this is going to work? So what happens is you get invited to come and talk to the fundraising committee. So I'm going to take a detour. If you're sitting at your desk or in your shop and saying, you know what, we want to grow our business next year, and we want to target just the right customer, you would come up with a group of things that are important. And here are some of the things that you would come up with. The wealthy, because they spend money. People who know how to make decisions, because they're not going to take all my time. They're just going to call and get it done. So what kind of people are on fundraising committees? The wealthy. Why? Because they can write a check and it's over. And the movers and shakers, the people who get things done. The same people you want to grow your business around are the people who make up these fundraising committees, and you get invited to come and talk to them and explain to them how this corsage thing is going to work. You get a free 30-minute infomercial in front of the people you want to be your customers anyway. So before you go to the school, we'll give you a checklist. You're going to have 12 corsages made up. You're going to do what we call roving billboards. 6 of those corsages are going to go to those girls. And if you're not sure who those girls are, ask anybody at the school. You use these folks. You've got 6 girls or more walking around the school, showing off everybody, using what they do to your advantage. The other 6 go to the roving faculty. Mrs. Smith, who goes to room 2 and teaches history, who's the nicest lady in all the world, she doesn't get one. She's not going to help you. But the principals and the counselors and the coaches and the people who are constantly walking up and down the hallway, they get them. Because what happens? My daughter runs over and goes, "What's that? Where'd you get that? That is so cool." You let those folks work for you. Where there's a lot of men and men principals, you might look at boutonnieres, but the girls may stop the boys. Corsages are going to be much more impactful for you. Take out an ad in the school paper. Doesn't cost you very much. Get pictures of some students with some corsages. Put something that's going to cause people to stop and look and read about it because it is the kids. Take out an ad in the school paper. Okay, so you've done your fundraiser and you've come up with a bunch of money and now it's time to send them a check. Do not sit at your desk and write them a check for $1,400, put it in an envelope and send it to them. You go and get the Tiger Woods check from Kinko's and you call them and say, "I'm coming to give you your money." And maybe you call the news or the television station and the local newspaper and the school newspaper, and you get everybody there, and there's where you put your big honking logo for everybody to see. Here it's 1-800-Flowers huge, and down here it can say the written part is small, but $1,400. 1-800-Flowers, $1,400. That's huge. But if you've gone to all of that effort, don't just sit there at your desk and write and send them a little check. It isn't over. You want to keep being constantly invited and included in those things. So make sure you've got a big check. The other thing that a lot of folks do is figure out how do we get them back in the store. One way you get them in the store is tell them, bring in your prom picture and we will put it on our wall of fame, which by the way has a picture of this big honking check on it in case you forgot that part. And you give them a free rose or something when they come back in. But what do you want them to do? You want to be their florist for their life. Get them in the habit of coming in and getting comfortable with you. Remember the fishing story, right? Do not go to the school and set up a table and sit there. There's my bait. Sure hope they like it. By the way, the wind's blowing the other way. They're not coming. Have something going on. Two things that catch people's attention, motion and color. Make some things. Empty the cooler. Wrap your table around it. 16-year-old girl coming down the stairs and sees a whole table full of flowers. She is going to it just like a honeybee. Make up some boutonnieres for the men. Prom ambassador program. Give a bunch of business cards to say 10 people. They put their initials on it. Every time somebody comes back in with their initials on it, those people get some type of a discount. Prom fashion shows. Every school does a prom fashion show. Again, when you're doing a fundraiser or becoming part of a prom fashion show, you're invited. It's not about doing it for everybody else because you're invited as part of this group. Anybody from Cincinnati? Okay, I'm going to talk about this flower shop in Cincinnati. He knew it all. The boys do all the buying. They don't have any money. He didn't need to advertise because I own the market. But anyway, we worked with him and we got him to go to one prom fashion show. And this is his results. His average sale went from $22 to $29. That's a big deal. That's a 30% increase. He got 100 more orders from that school. 85% of the orders came from the girl. But he was convinced they only came from the boy, and all the boy wants is 5 spray roses and a bow. He wants to get in and get out. 3 of them were on underwear elastic. All the rest of them were on Fitz bracelets, but he just swore nobody was going to spend that kind of money for bracelets. Quick tip, when it comes to selling corsages, sell the bracelet first. Do not sell the flowers first. She is not leaving until she has her corsage flowers. If you sell the flowers first, she's got no reason to stay. She's done. Sell the bracelet first, sell the flowers second. $3,950 increase because he went to one prom fashion show. The next year, how many of our ideas did he do?
All of them.
None of them. He didn't even go to the prom fashion show again. So, but because we worked with this school, we went and got another florist to come and take his place who had the same type of results. So he had 353 corsages this year. How many did he get the next year? 50. Because the florist that was there got the business. Your technology has to match your customer, not you. Here's an example of a website in Colorado. And let me just say this as boldly as I can. If your website does not say prom on it, you are not in the prom business, period. You can argue with me all you want to, but I'll tell you the same thing I tell my wife, you're wrong. When people come onto a website, your store is what they see. So this is a flower shop in Colorado, and you can't see it very well, but up here it says organic and fair trade, wine and beer baskets. Where's the wedding one? It says like bulk wedding flowers, Halloween, brownies, cookies and cakes, lots of things, including beer and wine baskets, but the word prom doesn't exist on there anywhere. Lots and lots of offerings, but when a 16-year-old girl goes to their website looking for prom, she's going to leave. They don't have it. So you've got to have those words on your website. Again, your technology has to match your customer, not match yourself. This is a flower shop in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is one of our bracelets. And for those of you who can't read that price, that says $139.95. This one right here is $62, $52, $64. Here's a $31, here's a $60. But they have pages and pages and pages of these prom pictures. Make sure you've got things that are on there. Don't be afraid of your pricing. Facebook, make sure that you're on Facebook. It is where the kids live. Make sure that you've got a social media program that lines up with where the girls are. Understand the dress trends. A corsage is not a corsage. It is a fashion accessory that goes with the dress. If you don't know what the dresses are, you can't make corsages that go with them. A corsage that goes with a short dress and a long dress are not the same. Now, we've got jewelry that covers all of them, and you've got flowers that covers all of them, but you need to be able to know this.
Whoa.
That is the hot dress. All of your daughters are going to the prom wearing this, right? No, they're not. So if you don't know that's the hot dress, how do you make that corsage? This is called the romper, and the most popular question is, does every girl get a boy to walk behind with the fan so that it blows like that? Okay? So that is the hot dress. It's called a romper. If you're looking in the prom magazines, if you're going to the stores, you would know that when the girl comes in and tells you she's got a romper, you know how to make a corsage that goes with that. You need these in your stores, these prom magazines. One, because we're going to advertise in them. But two, this is one of your best tips about how to increase your sales. The first thing you do when the girl comes in, you give this to her and you say, I need you to find the color of your dress in here and show it to me. And I'll show you in a minute the main reason why. The second is, here's a new rule for you. Corsages start at 15% of the price of the dress. This girl has money. And when she shows you her dress, she just told you that. So why would you do 5 spray roses and a bow? That's a $600 dress. And when she shows you her dress that it's not that expensive, then you don't try and sell her that much. These girls have money. You don't know whose money it is, whether it's hers or her dad's or her boyfriend's. Corsages start at 15% of the price of the dress. Your sales will go way up when you do that. Wow your store. Make sure you've got lots of displays in your store. This is what happens in every flower shop. They come in, someone comes in and you say, Hi, can I help you? And they say,
I'm just looking.
Okay, let me tell you what just looking means. Just looking means I don't know how to buy from you. I don't know what your prices are. I don't know what's in here. I don't know how this works. So, give them something to look at. How about a display that looks like that? So what we've done is we've taken a prom dress, and all around it we've put all the different things that go with it. Shoulder piece, bouquet, headpiece, boutonnieres, arm piece. How about that? This is why you want them to show you the color of the dress. This is how boys see color. Red, purple, pink, orange, yellow, green, and blue.
That's all they see?
That's what they see. This is how girls see color. Actually, that's the shortened list of how girls see color. And that's how guys see color. That's why you want them to show you the color of the dress. So even if the boy is there, the girl can still send the text message of it. Signature corsages. Make expensive corsages and give them names. Can you imagine if you've got one named the Venetian? And the girl that has lots of money, you take her by the hand and go, here, come here, let me show you this. This is the Venetian. And only a few people are going to have this. Now, so she goes down to your competitor because she wants a better price, right? How much is your Venetian corsage?
What?
You know, I didn't like 16-year-old girls before, and I like them even less. So what are they going to do? They're going to come back to you. So make signature corsages. Anybody know where Earlville, Iowa is? The population is 820. They are in the middle of nowhere, but they do signature corsages. Now think about this. Earlville, Iowa has a population of 820, and look at the name of their store. Posh Weddings and Special Events. She does signature corsages. You saw some. There is so much money to be made in boutonnieres. So much money. Let's look at this one. This boutonniere is made up of the scraps on your design table. How much can you sell that for? $29.99 is the price I hear most often. That buckle costs you less than $5. And it's the scraps sitting on your design table. There is so much money to be made in boutonnieres. Look at that. Okay. Have everything priced. You cannot say to this generation of girls, don't worry, honey, I'll just make it and it'll be pretty for you. This generation goes on the internet, goes on their smartphone, they buy a blue sweater, and the blue sweater better show up in the box when the box shows up. The statement that you can say to me, don't worry, honey, it'll be beautiful, does not work for this generation. You can't do that. Make it special. This is why you go and do the things and shop from the places you do. I am a Delta Diamond Million Miler. Yes, I am the guy sitting in the first class seat that got to get on the plane first while the rest of you are getting on there, and I'm already sitting there with my Diet Coke in my hand because I give them lots of money. So you want to treat them special so that you become their florist of choice. So here's what you do. When the boy comes in, you take him aside and go, you know what, Charlie, I'm going to help you out. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to get a single long stem red rose in a box with my most fancy pretty ribbon. And when you show up, you're going to give your date her corsage. You're going to kiss her on the cheek because I am watching. And then you're going to turn to her mother and go, and this is for you. Now, one of four things just happened. If it was my wife, she saw right through you. Curfew just got cut. You're coming home early. If it's like most of the ladies, curfew just got extended. Make it special. When's the last time you got a handwritten thank you card? You all remember it. When's the last time you sent a handwritten thank you card to a 16-year-old girl? If it's special to you, it's special to them too. Do an after prom review. You do it at the end of Valentine's Day, you do it at the end of the Mother's Day, you do it at the end of Christmas. Do an after prom review. But here's my challenge to you. This is the question you start with. What did we do right? Do not waste the time to ask yourself what you did wrong, because everybody knows that and you're not going to do it again. But if you have to answer the question, what did we do right? That will be one of the hardest questions you've ever had to answer. And that's how you get better. The way a gymnast learns how to do that double flip with the super curls and land and not break her ankle is because she learned how to do the first flip. And then she learned how to duplicate that to turn it into the double. And she learned how to do the first corkscrew turn. And then she could do it 2 or 3 times. What you do right is what makes you stronger. First question at the end of your after prom review, what did we do right? And then how do you make that better and bigger and stronger?